Hello YouTubers, this is John Demokis. I haven't posted any videos in the last 6 months or so. A lot going on with my family, and I've dedicated the last 6 months of my aquarium keeping to putting in place a 500-gallon aquarium. And what I'm going to do in this video is give you an overview of the aquarium and what were some of the things that I wanted to design into the system, and what my wish list was for the system. You know, I tried to go beyond best practices and even experiment with some new approaches. Now, there's just a few fish in the tank right now. They're kind of my guinea pigs. In fact, the brown color in the aquarium is because I've got a diatom infection in the tank, which is normal with my water. It goes through a phase and it's cycling where I get brown diatoms. But anyway, I'm going to talk about each component, and I'm hoping to follow this with a series where I talk about the different elements of the tank and the system, and how I achieved what I was looking for. But in terms of the aquarium, I always wanted an acrylic bow front aquarium. It's 500 gallons. And another thing I wanted was to eliminate gravel cleaning and vacuuming by having minimal substrate. And for the most part, all of these design goals and wish lists I'm going to go through, I was able to accomplish. I wanted a flat rock background with matching rocks, and you can see that, and we'll talk in later videos about where I got it, the installation. I essentially wanted a total natural look. I wanted to have shimmering LED lighting, and the tank's going to be, by the way, predator and large haps. I also wanted to have an aquaponic grow bed to purify the water and to consume the nitrates. So that's pretty much the aquarium. There's the grow bed, which I'll talk about. There's also a 115-gallon sump, which I will get into. She's up and running, 99% complete. In the next weeks, I should be transferring over fish from my 340-gallon, which you've seen in previous videos, and my 200-gallon grow-out tank. I've got unions strategically placed throughout the system, and all my PVC joints are welded, no hose clamps. This reduces the likelihood of leakage, and also makes the system easier to take apart. I've got a aeration chamber. We don't talk about how to aerate our tanks. I've got biomedia in this tank. I've got a K1 coldness chamber. I've got sponges, and I've got porette foam. Let's get a closer shot at the center section of the sump. Again, on the right is it's kind of blocked here by the stand, but it's the aeration chamber where the water comes into the sump from 2 overflow boxes. It filters through a coarse polyester pad, goes through a couple large porosity socks, and I've got plastic sponges in removable bags. And then what I think is really neat is this K1 chamber that allows for the correct amount of dwell time for the water as it flows through the sump. Followed up by several layers of porette foam with decreasing pore size to grab the final particles, and it has immense biological capacity. The last chamber is a pump that's rated at 5,300 gallons per hour. You can see it's got a check valve and also a automatic top-off system. And it's connected to a manifold. You can see the manifold through the tank. It's a horizontal back bar, and that manifold system feeds 4 return lines at about 1,200 gallons per hour each to the main tank. Just a few comments on energy savings that were built into the system. We all know energy is very important these days, and of course I don't want my wife getting upset about the increase in our electric bill with this new ad. So I've got a low energy LEDs and a low energy DC pump. I recycle the heat generated by the DC pump to heat the water. And I've got an electrical panel, which I'll show you in a few minutes. It's down below. It's easy access, easy viewing, and easy maintenance. I have a pump controller where I can adjust the pump volume that it's putting out, and also a temperature system that is monitored and regulated. In terms of risk management of this whole system, you know, we're all worried about floods and power failures and our fish dying. So I've built in a number of things that include audible alarms for spills and sensing of moisture on the floor. Put in the best heater on the market with a controller to eliminate overheating risk. And of course that heater's in a sump. I've got audible alarms for power failures. I've got a web-based video system where I can monitor this tank essentially from anywhere in the world on my smartphone or any PC that's connected to the web. Let's talk a little bit about the aquaponic grow bed. I've got ornamental plants, so it looks pretty with, you know, philodendrons, with pothos and Chinese evergreen. I also have some what are supposed to be nitrate hogs, which you know, I learned a secret from the aquaponic and hydroponic people that the mint family, for example, grows very fast in this type of bed and consumes a lot of nitrates. It's also, I've eliminated any artificial lighting because the whole setup here is right adjacent to a south-facing window, and there's a valve underneath whereby I can regulate the amount of water flow into the sump, which in turn drains and returns to the sump area for final filtration. Where I believe some real advances have been made in the design of the system is in the reduction of maintenance. My goal is, with the hydroponic bed, to have once a month water changes, and with the once a month water changes and water cleaned by the plants in the aquaponic bed, my goal is to not have nitrates exceed 20 parts per million. I'll cover this in a separate video, but I also set the goal, and I've got a design whereby I can empty 60% of this tank and refill it with 15 minutes or less hands-on time, meaning the time it needs is to set up and be part of the water removal and the water addition. The rest of the time I can sit and watch my PC or work on my PC. There is no gravel, going to be no gravel cleaning. I'll talk about that in subsequent videos. For me, gravel cleaning was always a big pain. It took a lot of time, and I found that most of my accidents as far as spillage in my office were in the process of cleaning the gravel. In the sump, there is no disposable media. All is reusable by quick cleaning and rinsing. And in terms of fish feeding, I've got an automatic fish feeder, large volume fish feeder, so when this tank is fully stocked, and it will be heavily stocked, I can let the feeder take over for at least 3 weeks. And in terms of sump maintenance, my goal is, and I believe it will be realized, is that I won't have to touch anything in the sump as far as cleaning, except once every 3 months. And there will be no more than 15 minutes of work involved in rinsing and cleaning the components. The beauty of this thing is, too, is you can rotate the cleaning so of the different chambers and chamber media, so as to minimize the negative impact on killing off a lot of negative bacteria, or beneficial bacteria, I'm sorry. So anyway, that's kind of the overview of the system. I put this together kind of at the last minute, and just wanted to give everybody a preview of where I've been the last 6 months and what I've been working on, and also a preview of a series to come, which will cover many of the what I consider to be advanced practices that were used in the design of various elements of the tank. Like, for example, how did I eliminate gravel cleaning, or how did I get essentially a no maintenance sump, or how's this aquaponic bed going to really work and limit my water changes to once a month, and yet still keep the nitrates at 20 parts per million or less. So anyway, thanks for watching, and keep tuned, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Thank you.